One of my students just closed a $96,000 wholesale deal. The craziest part is that at the beginning of 2025, this guy had never done a real estate deal in his entire life. He had no clue what an escrow agent or what a title company even did. He was just sitting in a cubicle selling software for somebody else. His name is Hunter, and today I'm gonna break down the exact steps he took to close a $96,000 profit wholesale deal so you can just steal the whole thing and do it yourself. But before that, you need to realize that Hunter used to be in a situation that's probably similar to yours. He spent 4 years grinding in tech sales, selling software for people he says he is so happy he no longer works for. And he was about to have his biggest payday ever, which included 2 big contracts closing, around $100,000 each. But instead of paying him out, his company restructured both contracts. That's $200,000 he was owed commissions on that he earned and will never see. Because instead of actually paying him out, they actually let go of the entire sales team, gave him a 3 or 4 month severance and said good luck. Now, most people would have updated their LinkedIn and gone right back into that same system that they just got burned on. But Hunter actually messaged me the very same day saying that he'll never work for somebody else again. So he started wholesaling on February 14th of last year. And he even wrote the words, "never have a boss again," on a piece of paper. He underlined the word and taped it to the wall behind his computer. And he says that to this day, he still looks at it. But here's the juicy part, because what Hunter did, and this is the reason why he ended up making $227,000 in his first 8 months, is what he did is instead of just joining my mentorship, watching every video, reading every document, trying to understand cash buyers and LLCs and tax strategies before ever doing anything, Hunter honestly skipped all that. Okay? This guy had 0 real estate experience, had never been a realtor, and he didn't have any experience in the field, right? All he knew is, hey, look, I can sell, I'm gonna work hard, and he didn't care. So he just followed the process exactly as I laid it out. He got on batch dialers, started making calls. And I'm not talking about making 50 calls or even 100. This guy was doing over 1,200 calls a day. We're talking 6+ hours of just straight calling on a triple line dialer all by himself, just hammering the phone. And guess what? He even says, he's like, dude, my first call was terrible and the second one was even worse. But by call number 10, he sounded like, hey, maybe he's reading the script for the first time. And by call 50, he started to find his rhythm. And then by 100, it started to feel natural. Somewhere in that process, he stopped thinking about what to say and just started having conversations. And that's when he was connected with a seller down in Tucson, Arizona. She was ready to move, but told him straight up that another company offered her $380,000, and if he could beat that, she would sign with him right now. So Hunter said, I'll do $382,000. And just like that, it was under contract. And this is less than 30 days from when he started the program. And the guy had never done a single real estate deal before that. But it gets better, because within 1 hour of getting that property under contract, he had it assigned to a buyer with earnest money deposited for a total assignment fee of $33,000. And that first deal changed his whole trajectory, because now he had proof, he had momentum, and now he had money to reinvest into marketing. And once Hunter found out about the luxury side of wholesaling, he didn't want to settle for $10,000 or $20,000 assignments anymore. Because in luxury, you can make $50,000 to $150,000 assignments for doing the same work in less time. And the first thing you have to understand is that with luxury wholesaling, it's a completely different game from traditional wholesaling, right? In traditional, you were going after distressed properties and distressed sellers. The house is beat up, the seller is motivated by divorce, foreclosure, inheritance, or whatever, and you offer below market value to flip the contract for a markup. But luxury wholesaling flips the entire model. Instead of looking for distressed homes, you are looking for properties that are sitting on land that developers want to build on. And the whole thing works because essentially Zillow has a massive blind spot. See, Zillow takes the square footage of the house, multiplies it by the average price per square foot in the neighborhood. So a 2,000 square foot house in an area where homes sell for $200 a foot, Zillow's gonna say, okay, it's $400,000. But Zillow completely misses land value. It's just like having an old, beat up Honda Civic that's worth maybe $3,000 as a car. But what if included in that car is the parking spot that's in downtown Manhattan that's actually worth $300,000, right? The value is not in the car, it's the space that the car is sitting on. And the same thing happens with properties. A developer looks at a 3/4 acre lot in Scottsdale, and they see a place where they can build a $5 to $9 million custom home. So they don't care about that 2,000 square foot home from 1975 sitting on it. They're gonna tear it down anyway. They care about the dirt. So Zillow says the property is worth $956,000 because they're just basing it on the house that's there. But a developer will pay 1.8, 1.9 million, even $2 million for that because of the land. And that gap is where Hunter closed a $96,000 deal. So the first thing he had to do was pick a market. right? And all you have to do is go to Zillow, filter for new homes, right? Set the build date to 2023 or newer, and the price to $3 million plus. You're looking for clusters of developer activity where builders are already buying homes, or where builders are already buying lots and putting up expensive homes, because that tells you that the demand's there. Now, in Scottsdale, you can find developers consistently paying above $1 million for these lots and exiting those builds for $5+ million, right? And some of them even up to 20 million. And when a developer is making millions of dollars of profit on a build, your 100K assignment fee is a drop in the bucket. Second, he pulled lists. You're looking for older homes in those same areas. So let's say, hey, pre-1980 builds that are on large lots, owned for at least 5 years to eliminate other investors and flippers, right? You only want long-term homeowners that are sitting on land that they don't realize could be worth a fortune. Third, he got set up on outreach through smarter contact from mass texting. He took the list that he pulled and fed it through our texting SOP. Now, he got insane results from those texts because he followed exactly what we told him to do, which is we keep it simple and direct as possible, right? You just introduce yourself, mention you work with developers that are buying in their area, and give them a price range around what Zillow says their house is worth, and let them know it's a cash offer, no realtor fees, buying the property as is. And that last part is what makes this completely different from traditional outreach, is that we're oftentimes leading with a number that's higher than their Zestimate. So instead of the seller getting suspicious or defensive, they're like, okay, their ears perk up, right? They're immediately interested. And then when you get sellers on the phone, the conversation is nothing like traditional wholesaling, because instead of negotiating against them, trying to talk them down, saying they're talking about the house, you're coming with a great offer. So the whole focus instead is just speed, convenience, certainty, discretion, right? The seller skips all the traditional headaches like having to do inspections, contingencies, realtor commissions, and they still net the same or even more that they could get listing with an agent. Then after that, you find a buyer. And this part is actually a lot simpler than you probably think. All you need to do to find buyers for these $1 million plus properties is go back on Zillow, look for those new builds from step one, and oftentimes in the listing description, the name of the developer will be in like the first or second sentence, right? So you just Google that name, you call them up, reference the property you used to find them and say, hey, looks like you bought this property for 1.1, you got it listed for 9. Would you be interested in another project in the same neighborhood? And of course they're gonna be interested because they're about to sell one. They're gonna make millions of dollars on the back end. This is the entire system Hunter followed to join the luxury market and close his first luxury deal. $96,000 assignment fee from a single transaction, right? That's almost double his total earnings from his first 8 months of $227K, right? Hunter went from getting screwed out of his commissions on that $200,000 from the corporate job to making more than that on his own terms in his first year. Now, I know what some of you are thinking because I hear it all the time from people who are thinking about entering the luxury market, right? This sounds too good to be true. I don't have the money to get started, or this only works if you know the right people. Well, Hunter had none of that. He had a 3-month severance from a company that owed him way more. He knew nothing about real estate, but he just had the willingness to make 1,500 calls a day, even though his first 50 were terrible, and the discipline to follow the process exactly instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. And most importantly, is a mindset where the only way he loses is if he quits. And the thing about luxury specifically is it doesn't require more skill or more intelligence than traditional wholesaling. You just need a different target. And that is exactly what we teach inside the Lux Blueprint. It's the same system and support that we gave Hunter, the underwriting so you walk into every seller conversation knowing exactly what to offer, the buyer network so the developer's already lined up before you even get the property under contract, and direct access to me and my team in your corner. And if you want to learn more about how the Lux Blueprint can work for you, I'll leave in the description where you can book a call with our team of experts and see if we're going to be a good fit to work together. So go below, apply for your call, and I'll see you all on the other side.